Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first call for this year. I'm really excited to learn something new. And today we are going to talk about, the topics around the Dataverse. So we know, like Dataverse is a core for any Power Platform projects. Everything's start around this. And without wasting the time, I would really like to hand over and listen something from the Thomas that what he has it in his bucket to tell around the Dataverse.
Guys, have a nice evening, nice day wherever you are. I think for today we have an interesting topic again, and maybe you can count down 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1. It is a little bit about Copilot. So yesterday, let me tell you the quick story, and then I also want to share the screen a little bit because I want to show you something absolutely awesome. Yesterday, we had the Teams Community Day 2024. And actually, it was only 20% about Teams and 80% about Copilot. And I guess it is the topic we should talk about. I think within our group, we will definitely do it another. So I make also a little bit advertisement for my other AI and Copilot user group, which is upcoming. You can find this on Meetup. Anyhow, we are also talking about Copilot because it is still the hot topic. And now I should talk a little bit about it. And I said will be around a minute, maybe 2. And I'm lazy, so that means why not let AI help me to find a pitch? And since it's a 2-minute pitch, I could make it as a kind of management pitch, or I said, let's do a sales pitch because also most likely it is super interesting. Now, let me definitely share my lovely window, and I go for Copilot first. So hopefully you should see the Copilot window. I hope you do.
Yeah.
That is great. Actually, I should put that nice sticker in front of me. Do you see my screen from the Teams Community Day? Yes. Okay, Copilot. I asked Copilot, the standard version for sure. They make me an interesting sales pitch for Copilot and why it is a hot topic. I think that's a good question, Joe. A sales pitch is pretty short and makes someone interested in it. And the hot topic means like why we should talk about it. And if you believe it or not, it completely misunderstood everything. As you see, Copilot for sales. For sales, I did not speak about Copilot for sales. And here we come to the topic, why Copilot is so interesting. So you have Copilot in Bing, you have Copilot anywhere else in your M365 apps. You have it for Dynamics, which is also interesting. You can even have developer environments where you can utilize it yourself. And that's one part. And again, it is because it's Microsoft, it's even talking about licenses, which is higher. I don't know if you are interested if I tell you something about sales productivity, which is, by the way, awesome if you are looking into Dynamics 365. But now I come to another OpenAI and let me ask the same question here. It looks different, right? So now we are actually a ChatGPT. Also, there are integrations possible for sure with Copilot, but at least even with the version 3.5, it came something out. And now I can tell you something. Yes, I love Copilot because it definitely helps me making my pitches much more faster. I did this for another webcast series, which is coming, and I had no idea what to talk about. I asked, by the way, both. And yes, if you have an enterprise Copilot, it is definitely a little bit better, so to speak. And it just gives me ideas. Even in like this one, for example, in the middle, I totally like these ideas of like end-to-end project management. Yes, if you have your data, and that brings me back later to all our other folks in our call today. If you have data, if you have data lakes, if you have maybe even certain parts of machine learning, you can summarize. And that's awesome. And that means like your pitches, your presentations and everything else becomes definitely faster. The main problem we humans have is getting into a flow. What does this mean? Getting into a flow means like when you start with something from scratch, you need to step over the hurdle to just go into a writing or presentation mode flow. And if that's happened, everything is fine, but it takes time. And if you don't have time, why not let that initial thought come from a co-pilot? It is something not replacing our thoughts, but actually it triggers creativity. And that is something, I guess, during the next sessions, I definitely want to talk about it. Beside of, also we have interesting trainings internally, and I hope everyone made it. Also the human aspects, governance aspects on AIs, and also what could be go wrong and why you still need humans. That's my one. And yeah, Marius, I think you will continue with another awesome topic.
Well, maybe slightly less hot and interesting, but I recently had data flows in my projects, and data flows are pretty interesting, I think, because data flows let you hook up to many data sources, basically the same ones you can access with Power BI, because it's the same technology with Power Query, and then let you import the results into your Dataverse. And data flows, unlike normal Power Automate flows, only the owner can edit them. And Microsoft made a cool feature. So you see here, this is my data flow. And if I go to all data flows and search for someone else, so that will be Alan Steiner, I can see his data flows, only one currently, and I can change the owner, for example, to myself because I'm an administrator. And this is all fine. And so this data flow was imported by Alan Steiner with a solution here. But the thing I want to talk about is what happens if you import a solution with an app registration or with a guest user. And that doesn't work. Well, the import works, but if we, for example, try to search for Mario Swodke here, in this search box, we won't find him. And also trying the hashtag, oh, sorry, that's not a hashtag, that's a hashtag, doesn't work. And deployment, the name of the app, does also not work. So this search only works for regular members of the tenant or users that are synced from on-premises to that tenant. So via the Azure AD Sync, I think now it's called Entra Connect. So only the regular members are being found here. And this is why I want my tip today to only import data flows with a regular user, not via pipelines with an app registration. And in that sense, make or put them to a separate solution that you move manually. That way you always be sure that this will be working correctly. Thanks, then. I'll hand over to Ambesh. I think you have something around Postman.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Marius. It was really interesting to know about that. So yeah, I would just quickly share my screen and then we can talk something around the Postman. Yeah, just let me know once my screen is visible to everyone. And yeah, so today we will see the possibilities of play around, the Dataverse APIs via Postman. So maybe let's start with a short intro of product and the tool on which I'm going to talk and show some quick demos there before we do. So, the Microsoft Dataverse API is a powerful tool that allows the developers to work with the data, tables, columns, definitions, in the Dataverse. It also provides the development experience that can be used across a wide variety of the programming languages, platforms, and the devices. At the same time, whereas Postman is a popular API, the application programming interface platform that simplified the API lifecycle, making it easier for the developers to build, to test, to modify, and even to document the APIs, which is really interesting. It also offers the range of the features, including the comprehensive set of the API tools, an API repository, for the easy storage and the collaboration, workspaces for the organizations and the governance rules, for quality assurance, and it's a user-friendly interface, eliminate the need of writing the HTTP client network code, making API development more efficient and accessible. Like I still do remember my old days when we have to write a long C sharp query, C sharp scripts or something to connect one system to the other system. So now it's quite, and just for the testing. So it's quite convenient now. And then basically like how we can do. 5 golden steps. So we have to prepare the prerequisites. Then, and in the prerequisites, we need to get the URLs of the organization. We need to install the Postman. We need to sign up there and so on. Then we need to register an application to the Azure Active Directory or the Entra ID we call now. Then we have to configure the Postman to connect the Dataverse instance. We have to test the API access from the Postman before making any final operations or the magic over the Dataverse. So I think let's jump in the real world and see the magic. So I will just quickly share the step-by-step process, my browser over there. And if you can see on my screen right now, what you have to do first. So the first thing, we have to go to the Power Platform Admin Center. We have to go to our environment from there, and the environment. After going to the environment, when we see the details of the environment, you can find the environment URL here. So that is the first step. Second step, you have to go to the postman.com downloads. You have to download the Postman based on if you're using the Mac, you're using the Windows 64 or whatever the platform. So you have to download it. You have to register, sign up there, because then you can save your all of the requests into the collection and so on for the longer uses. The step 3 here, you have to go to the office.com, and from the office.com you have to go to the admin center there. So on the left blades or the left navigation, you will find the admin center. The moment you will click here, you will be redirected to the admin center there. And from the admin center, you have to go to the identity. And the moment you click on the identity, the Azure portal will open. So this is the thing, like a different ways to reach there. Here also, you can directly go to the portal.azure.com and this will open for you. Here you have to basically search the app registration. So once you are into the app registration, you have to make a new app registration here. So I already created just to save the time. What all the things we have to keep it in the mind. So the first thing is when we talk about the authentication. So on the authentication, we have to just quickly provide the, we have to add the platform web, and we have to provide the redirect URL as an HTTPS localhost. So step 1. After that, we have to go to the API permissions. And here we really need to be very cautious, because then we have to, example, select the add a permission. Then we have to search the dynamic CRM from the list from the Microsoft APIs. Once you select the dynamic CRM API from the list, you have to click on the checkbox user impersonations. Don't forget to click it. If you don't click it, your authentication or your credential won't be giving the right results. Then after this, once you perform this step, you have to quickly go to the you can check the manifest file, because there are sometimes we might need to change we might need to make the changes to the manifest. That is not really important, but once you will get or encountered sometimes such errors, you can have a quick look into that one. Like an example, if you are, I can just name some of the parameters. So one parameter there should be example auth allow implicit flows. If you are really validating with the implicit way, so you have to make it true. The same way there are 1 or 2 more options or the parameters there, you need to change the value from none or from false to the true. One thing I just forgot to mention, once you are in the API permission, you really need to grant admin consent for the contour. So there you can just simply grant the admin access, and this is the things what we have to take care about there. The next step is once I have the app created, or the app registration, then I have an app ID. I have to go to the environment, so I can just quickly walk through. So in the environments, you have to go to the settings, and in the settings, you have to go to the user permission and then application users. Once you are in the app users, you have to add the new app users. From here, you have to select whatever we have created right now. So because I have already added, it's not available, but suppose there's another app registration you did, it will reflect here. You have to select it here, and then you have to assign the particular business units, whatever the business units you would like to grant the access. I have only one default one, so that's what I have one, and only one is popping up or dropping off there. And then you have to assign the proper security role, so system customizer, system admin, or any role which you would like to perform, or you would like to make an operations there to perform it. The next step is we have to go to the developer resources, and again, like people could ask how we can go. So it's simple. Like if you are into your dynamic CRM instance, you have to simply go from setting gear icons to the advanced settings. Once you are on the advanced settings, then you can navigate quickly to the customization group. In the customization group or the area you have a customization, in the customization you will find the developer resource. So once you are here, then you will see this window, and from here you need to get basically the API URL from there. So it shows what version you are, 9.1, 9.2. So right now every instance will get the 9.2, but if somebody using the old one, it's not really upgraded, or probably the on-premise machines, then they can actually use the respective versions accordingly there. So that is, I would say, few steps before we are reaching to the Postman, which we have to do this. And once I'm on the Postman, what I have to do, you can create the environments there. And in the environments, you can provide example. You can create the variables, like you can provide the URLs here. You can provide the versions. You can provide the tenant ID. So tenant ID, you can get it from from multiple places. The easiest way, I think, the tenant ID, to get the tenant ID, you can again go to your overview, and from here you can get the tenant ID from the Azure portal. Then you can get the web API URL. You can create it. So the base URL, API data, then what version. So there are two options, either from the admin, from the developer window or the developer site, you can directly put it there, but I really want to make it configurable. So if another version is coming in futures, or my CRM instance is getting, or Dataverse instance is getting upgraded, I shouldn't have any problem, because then it will I have to just update at one place. In the callback or the fallback URL should be HTTP localhost. You can go with the IP numbers also. Authentication URL is a defined one, so you have to give the base login.microsoftonline.com. Then it's replaced with your tenant ID. OAuth to v2.0, and the token would remain same here. Then you have a client ID and the client secret, and this is something I would quickly go again to the to the Azure app registration site. And here we have to generate the client ID and the secret. So it's quite simple process. You have to simply go and give a name, and then you have to decide, like it's for 180 days, 1 year, 3 months, whatever. Or you can go with the custom also, like a specific date if you would like to see, like example, you would like to share with the developers of your team, and the developers will be in the team for another 45 days. Then you can give the custom dates also accordingly. So after 45 days, it will automatically expire, and then later on, nobody can access it. Try to avoid giving a long dates, like 3 years or something. I think renewal of the client secrets is always necessary. So client ID and the client secret, you will get it from there. You can put it here. For the client secret, I specifically chosen not the default one, but the secret one, so it cannot be visible with the naked eyes here. The next step is, then you have to go to the collection. You have to create a collection there, and because I have already created just for the time's sake. So what you have to do, the first step here, you can just create a request, and in the request, just put anything right now with a get call or something on the parameters for the URLs. Go to the authorization tab, select the OAuth2 from this drop down here, and then basically initially it will be empty, so nothing will be there, and then basically this portion will also empty because I have already generated the token, so it's captured there. Header prefix, keep it by default, so you don't have to make any changes there into the header prefix. Then after that, you just give any name, like CDX demo token, whatever the name you would like to give it, you can give it here. Keep it the grant type as a client credentials. You can also mention the implicit, like you have to make some different settings for that one. You can also go with the password credentials. So password credential is basically not a recommended way. It's a quick and dirty way. But if you really want to put your passwords in the client, like user ID in the password, this is a way which you have to go. Then use the variables here directly instead of writing the hard coded like a client auth URLs, client ID, client secrets. For the scope, you just put the base URL / default. Keep this every information in the header. So authentication header, and then generate a new token. So once you generate the new token, a token will be generated and you can capture it or use it. Once the token has been generated, then you can try to making a default calls to just validate, okay, you did everything. Is everything working fine or not, or you still get some error? So I have a URL written there, which is a base URL. Then who am I? Let's try to send it here and see if I'm getting some responses there or not. So I could basically, just I would wait for a second and see the request is going, and if everything is fine, then I should be able to get the response back. So I get my user ID back, which business unit I'm the part of, what organization ID I'm the part of. So I get basically about myself that, okay, what I am and who I am, who is going to make the call to the system in the subsequent request. Yeah, you know me, but probably system don't know me. Since the system don't know, and system don't know anyone actually, unless you are going to tell them that who you are. The next step is I'm trying to make a get call. So simply the web API URLs, retrieve total record counts, which entity. So I'm trying to pick all of the record count from the account entity. I can use the tokens there, what has been already generated, and then try to just make a call if it is coming or not. If this is giving me the result, so I have a total 4 values there. I would like to quickly validate, and I would go quickly to my account and see. I have not my active account, but basically all accounts. So I have totally the 4 values here. If I would create more, or if I would remove something, then I will get the counts accordingly. The second way, because these are the get, though both the requests were in the get, I would try to really do it here. So what I did, I just again make the base URLs account, and I'm trying to make or insert or update some values in the existing record. So I'm basically trying to update the data there. What I did in the body, I just put the override creation date. I would like to update this, so then it can update the created date accordingly. And also I would like to update the website URL with something. So right now, just validate it in the system. What is the base URL there? So I will just quickly go and this is the account ID which I'm talking about. So you can check it from the URL parameters. So this is exactly the account ID which I'm trying to pass it here. And there is something, the website address is www.preresearch.net/dot. I would like to update it because I see, okay, there is an additional dot, which it should not be there. And I just update it here, try to send it, and hopefully it should run. And it gave me the updated results. So now you can see on the body, response body, that I don't have a dot there. Let's just quickly revalidate into the system. So it's not something spoofed, but now you can see directly into the system, the dot is gone now. This is the way you can connect actually from the Postman to your Dataverse APIs. You can make a lot of operations there. It's not only limited to the get or the post. It could be patch. It could be anything. So you have a complete complete API documentation there. I would share with the video description link. This all the things, all of the important notes there. But that would be a great way to start, or the quick way to start when you are thinking from the pro dev perspective. Now, in conclusion, with the help of the Postman, the Microsoft Dataverse APIs offer a flexible and the powerful way to interact with the data in the Dataverse. So whether you are just getting started or you are an experienced developer, the Dataverse API can help you to build the robust data-driven application, even without using the interface or any of the app there. So stay tuned with us, and in upcoming episodes, probably we will be making walkthrough for all the possibilities to enhance, connect, and build the apps in the more pro dev way. You can, subscribe the channels and share the videos with your friend and colleagues. Thank you from my side, and I would like to hand over now to Jorgen. Let's see what is in his bucket.
Yes, thanks, Ambesh. And before I start with my topic, many thanks for your whole walkthrough. But I just saw or remembered that everyone is using Power Platform Dynamics differently. So I saw that you were using still the classic editor showing the web resources. And yeah, I know that not everyone is using the classic editor anymore. So also in the Maker portal, you have an easy access to the developer resources. Just click on the symbol here and go to developer resources. And here you have also all the endpoints for your API. So it's also a good possibility to get the information, and you don't have to go back to the classic editor just to get the developer resources.
Yeah, thanks, Jürgen, for sharing. I'm still into the old school model, so
Yeah.
used to of the interfaces. But yeah, thanks a lot, and over to you.
So what I want to talk about today is something which is not so much known. It's a feature that is also not available directly from Dynamics itself. So you have to use either the API or the XM toolbox, which is the way I will show today. And what I'm talking about is polymorphic lookup tables or multi-table lookups. So there are some out-of-the-box examples for this kind of lookups, especially if you think about records and ownerships. We have the owner field, and this is, I would say, the most prominent example for multi-table lookup field, because if you go here and we'll show it with the advanced lookups, then you can see it better. You can see that the owner field is referring once to the user table and on the other hand to the teams table. And you can either select a team or a user as the owner of a record. But there's no out-of-the-box way to create your own custom multi-table lookup fields or polymorphic lookup tables, even though it's supported. So you have to use the XM toolbox, and there's luckily a tool called Polymorphic Lookup Manager for the past 1.5, 2 years already. But as I think it's not so commonly known. So what can you do with it? You can use it to make a lookup to different tables. And one possibility is, for example, if you have, let's think about a project and you want to collect members of the project. So it could be either users of the system, but also contacts could be a part of the members, or also Azure Active Directory users, so users inside the organization without a Dynamics or Power Apps license. And maybe you want to capture the member for approval flows. So you need to get the information somewhere, and this is an easy way to create a polymorphic lookup. Before starting working with a polymorphic lookup manager in XM Toolbox, you need to do some preparations. So you need to have a solution inside your environment, because the polymorphic lookup manager will ask you for a solution where you're referring on, and you must know the table that you want to select. So I've created for me a new solution called Dataverse Multitable, and I will jump to the XM toolbox. You have to connect to your environment that you're looking for, and then starting the application within the XM toolbox. So now the metadata has been loaded from my environment, and I can find the Dataverse multi-table solution within the polymorphic lookup creator. One tip, always following the steps from top to bottom, because if you start below and then change back to a field before, then all the information that you might have already captured, like selecting the tables, etc., will be gone, and you have to re-enter it once you have changed something in the previous steps. So referencing table, I have created a table called project with my credentials. So this will be CAB project. Selecting it. Now you can define if you want to create a new polymorphic lookup, or if you want to change an existing lookup, if you might have already created one before and you want to add another table or remove a table or redefine an existing lookup. I will call it, as I said, member. And the schema name will be automatically created, and I will leave it to members ID. As I'm in the solution, the lookup will be also getting my publisher a prefix, so it will be created within the solution. And I can now select, for example, account, AD users. I can search for contact. And I also want the system users. And now I see that multiple tables have been selected. And all I need to do is create polymorphic lookup. Okay. There was an error. Let's restart. So create a new. I have to restart it. Sometimes it's a little bit buggy. I don't know why. It seems within a new update. Hopefully now it's working. Referencing table, I will use CAB project. I will say create new polymorphic members. And now I see here the lookup schema name is still CAB, as I mentioned. Contact and system users. So let's try it again. And now it's working, creating the polymorphic lookup, and it directly shows you what it's doing. So it's first creating it, it's updating the solution and publishing everything. So you can then directly jump into the system, into the Maker portal once it's published, add it to a form, and test it out. We need to wait a little bit. So maybe if there are some question to this session or to the sessions before from one of my co-speakers.
I just want to praise this feature because it is so cool. I've waited a long time for this, and when I started out, it was not there, and I was like, we need this. And because you called it members, what you cannot do is what you do with parties, so that you set multiple records at once, and I'm still waiting for that feature to come.
So it's now set, it's done, and I'm totally with you. So when I started with CRM, it wasn't there as well. So it's a feature for the last 1.5, 2 years available, and it's really a great other feature. And there's also even more interesting feature that is coming at the moment to Dataverse. Maybe next time I will talk about it, which I waited even longer. It's the possibility to set multiple regarding elements on an activity table and referring it to itself. So there are some great news regarding this coming this year. So going back to the solution, I can go to my table now, to the columns. And if everything worked, I can now see that there is the members field. It's a lookup. And if I go to the relationships, then you should see that here are several relationships created for members. And now let's go to the form. Add some members to the form. Where's it's gone? A little bit slow today. I will just do it again.
You were too quick. It popped up when you clicked leave.
Yeah. Ah, why it's not working? Ah, there it is. And save and publish. A bit slow today. Okay, refreshing the page. It's a projects table. And now I can see that I can, these are all accounts. I have not advanced lookup. And here you can see I can select accounts, contacts, or users, and add these to the project. But as you said, only one record is allowed at the moment, so I can either select a contact or an account. But that's what I meant. Now you have the possibility to select one member of the team and use this field, for example, in an approval workflow, and you can either decide, is it a contact you want to send the approval to, or a system user, or maybe also an AD user. In the past, you had to place different lookup fields on the form, and you had to specify that maybe only one could be filled and the others have then to be read-only or hidden. Now you can use one field for this approach. So thanks, everyone. And yeah, looking forward to the next session where we are sharing more topics.
Yeah,
Handing
quite
over
interesting, Jürgen.
to
Yeah.
Michael.
I don't have anything to say today.
Do you have any questions?
So many, but I don't know where to start.
Okay.
I just remember when I saw that Ambush was demonstrating the Dataverse API with a Postman, that I remembered that some time ago, I think last year or the year before last year, I started the Postman 30 days challenge, which is a really nice challenge to get into APIs. How does it work? And for me, they kind of lost me as I realized I need to learn some JavaScript or basically any kind of programming language that would have helped. And that was a blocker for me. But yeah, still a cool challenge.
It's still good to know because I talked to Ambush in the morning and I needed it yesterday, right? And he asked me that exact question, and I needed it yesterday because people were asking from outside Dataverse, okay, they need to write the Dataverse. And okay, how do you get these people into this? And the easiest thing was, okay, I just make a Postman collection with this authorization and the sample request, and okay, you hand it over, they can use it and see real result, they can make changes and so on and see it not work maybe. And yeah, that's just the strength of Postman. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the same thing from where we have just started or have basically started, because a lot of our customers or the partners, they need to push the data, they need to read the data, especially if you work for the data integration projects. And at some point of time, you can't give the access via interfaces because then you need a licenses, and yeah, there are a lot of governance there. The easiest way, create a Postman collection, what you mentioned, like put the fillers, put the sample request and the loads there, give it to them, they would play around, and yeah, then if everything done, it can be integrated to the real project. So quite a nice way to explore that area as well.
I wonder if that works if you have switched tenant isolation on and not created an example connection for that. That's something I need to test, but that's basically an outbound connection or an inbound connection. Depends on where you come. We should test that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I would say stay tuned with us, because in the next episode, probably we are going to talk more about the new and upcoming features releases, like the Wave 1 feature releases. So we are going to look into that one. I know we already started looking into that one, but we need a time where we can compile everything and present for you guys. So yeah, just wait for that. And by the time, thank you so much for joining. Thanks all of you for your great time and support here for the community. Have a great day. Have a great night whenever you are listening the videos and you are looking into this. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining today.